Hi everyone, that's Dorota International nail artist and educator here, and today we will be doing some baby boomer faded French effect. It is absolutely a stunning and classic look. You can have a preview of it in here. I hope you will be really happy to learn this quick and effective technique to achieve this faded look. So let's start. We are going to swap this beautiful French manicure for a baby boomer. It's actually sad to say goodbye to them. I had to shorten them because we was riding the motorbikes, but yeah, I will show you how I'm doing the rebalance. They have been on for ages because they were so nice that it was a shame to take them off. Those flowers lasted absolutely amazing on both of the hands. They are flat back, so they do really stick and absolutely fantastic to the nails. I'm clipping them off with the cuticle nippers, and as you can see, they are quite stubborn to clip off. So watch your eyes when you're doing those kind of stuff. And the last one. I don't want to damage my bead too much, so I usually use the nippers to kind of clip off the caviar beads, and I have stick that in with the I bought a base gel, and it's really, guys, fantastic way of securing your gems and the decorations. Okay, so once this is off, we are going to use the safety bead. I'm actually using the Melody Susie, the portable e-file, because I find it is awesome actually. Obviously I am right-handed, so this is me working with the left hand. I don't want to change the shape too much because they are quite nice, so I'm trying to file kind of nice and even with the same pressure, almost like peeling the carrots, I usually describe it. Then file the other side. So even pressure. Since this is my left hand I'm using, I've got lower speed just so I can control it a little bit more. And then this side is nice and safe, it doesn't cut, so I'm turning my e-file into that side and I'm just gently blending the old product with the natural nail. Okay, this way my nail is prepared for shaping, cuticle work, and then the gel application. So I have just put some cuticle bead. We are going to push back my cuticles, and this way you will know like also how big the growth is, because they have been on for over a month actually. So you can see this is the growth on those nails from underneath. They look grown out even more, like I said, really decent growth. So we are going to put the cuticle bead, gosh, and then file one side first. Just to clean any tissue which is on the nail plate. Put it back to the reverse and then do the other side. Again, I'm keeping the bead quite flat, just so I don't create holes. Then I can tidy up the nail folds a little bit. Especially this side is actually quite hard skin there. So I'm just exfoliating it with the bead. Switch it off, clean the dust, trim the cuticles. There's actually not that much. Again, I'm trying to find the comfiest position to do so. There is actually a lot now, I can see it. Okay, using the e-file, we are going to reshape this nail. I always thin out the free edge, because if I don't thin out the free edge, then the nails are bulky. So we are going to file them in a nice coffin shape again. One side, you can see the file lines, then the other side. Smooth out the free edge so it's nice and straight. And then I've got the bulk of the product at the free edge, which I'm gonna remove. Okay, that's it. Done. We have to blend all the natural nail with the extension and also give it scratches to it. So like make sure there is no shiny places. And I'm going to make my life a little bit more difficult because for Babyboomer, I do really highly recommend the milky pink gel. Because it has this milky color, it is really easy and quick to do the Babyboomer with it. I like to make my life complicated, and on my nails I'm going to use the Perfect Rose one, just because that's what I had used before. Okay, so this is my nail prepare for the fresh product application. I can see it, I've got one more shiny place, so always kind of inspect it after you finish the filing. Blue scrap to dehydrate the nail plate. We want to have a nice and squeaky clean, like make sure there is no dirt, there is no oils on the nail plate. You cannot have anything on your nail plate in order for them to last. An extra nail prep. Let me grab this away. An extra nail prep. Sorry, cameraman. I have been all over the place. All over the place. She is everywhere. Okay, so universal air bond. Cameraman, please, I need a new universal air bond because the new one's got nice gold lids, and this one is ugly. I want a fresh one. I want a new one. You don't have it here. Please remember to take it from the storeroom. Okay, so universal air bond. I had some fluff in there, so I'm just going to remove it. There can't be any fluffs in there. Okay, and then the Perfect Rose we are going to use. I'm going to open the pot, grab my brush. Before I start using my gel, I'm always reshaping my brush because there is, as you can see, there is some product left over, and I like to keep this product on my brush so it keeps it in shape, and then just with the dry wipe I'm kind of reshaping the brush, and then I'm picking up the product. Because I'm holding the brush this way, I have to pick up the product on that side of the brush, and I have to make sure it's only on the one side of the brush. Okay, I'm pulling down my nail folds, which are excessive, they're always huge. Remove the excess of the product so my brush is nice and clean. Guys, this is like a really great tip for you. When you've got almost no product on your brush, you can press harder so this product attached better to the natural nail. I'm capping free edge now when my brush splits. So that was one side done. Working around those cuticle, like press it nice and decent, pull down those nail fold, go all the way down, capping free edge. When my brush splits, give it a tiny bit of the product, like very strong press, and this is my first layer. Let's cook it. The reason why I'm doing this first layer is I've got lots of control over the product because I've got just a tiny wee amount of the product, so it's never going to run, and I'm always doing it on all five nails, and then I'm going to apply the second layer and then build up on my apex if this is a new set, or remove my apex if this is a rebalance, and that's the case we are going to do it today. So again, I'm picking up another scoop of the product. Okay, so another tiny scoop of the product and doing exactly the same. So remove the excess of the product and then work it through it around the cuticle area. Like, look, I'm almost touching it. The gel always shrinks the tiniest ever bit in a lamp. That's why I'm going so close, but I can do it because I've got small amount of the product. And now I'm going to pick up the large scoop of the product. Make sure you've got it on the one side of the brush. And then we are going to release it from the brush, going one side, other side, and then press it harder. So little pressure, like kind of jump, and then work one side, other side. Don't go too close to the sides, because by the time you finish this task, especially with your left hand, the product will fall down in there on its own. Okay, so that's my apex moved. And now I can start pressing harder, because I don't want any more product on my free edge. Okay, the free edge has plenty of the old product. Wait for the product to kind of self-level a little bit, and basically that's it, ready for cooking. So that's how I'm doing the rebalance side view. Let's cook it. We are going to cure it at 60 seconds and then we can shape it. So when my nail is cooking, 60 seconds cook, guys, I'm just going to quickly close the products and talk a little bit through the next step which we will do. So clean the brush, but not completely, just dry wipe, close the lid. I'm going to show you the sponges which we are going to use for the next step as well. So for sponges, when I'm working with the products, I always like to use it nail form. So what I'm doing is I'm just peeling off that nail form. You know, guys, what is in my head right now? Yes, you know. I was like, cameraman, where are you? Can you cut the sponge for me? No, you can't. Okay. No, it's fine. I will cut it myself. Okay, so I'm going to cut this sponge, and the reason why I'm cutting this sponge is, so first of all, it has slimy surface, which is really difficult to do the Babyboomer and any kind of ombre. And the fresh cuts are always kind of cleaner, but there's lots of fluffy bits and pieces. Look at this, guys. Like, can you see those fluff coming off from this sponge? That will give you a texture, and we don't want that. So I'm always kind of cleaning this off before we will be doing the Babyboomer. So that's my sponges ready. Let's file this nail, put them on the side, and let's file this nail. Remove the inhibition layer. So inhibition layer off. Baby wipe so we don't make a huge mess. And here I'm not going to put the fan. Oh gosh. Clean it well. I'm not going to put the fan on, just so it's easier for you to hear me. Okay, I'm filing the free edge. And then I can see also the thickness of the free edge. It is really thick. Because always when I shorten the nails, they become much thicker. So I will need to thin that out. File one side, file the other side. Like, make sure the file is nice and straight. Okay, blend everything around the cuticle area. I had to swap the file. This one was useless. Actually, those kind of file which is a bit used, I like to use it around the corners because I can go kind of closer to the skin without worrying it, like making a trouble on the skin. Okay, file all the way around those cuticle area. Take a brush and clean it because I want to show you guys. So I am almost there, like I still need to file there because I don't want those bits and pieces, but you shouldn't be able to see how the nail, where the nail starts, just so you've got a cleaner growth later on. So do it always, those blending. Those blending also will prevent any kind of product lifting because there is no catchy places. So this is a really good kind of secret to long-lasting nails. I need to file it also at that angle to make the nail look slimmer, okay? So make sure the file is kind of straight, do not round it off. So you have to keep it kind of like at that angle, okay? You can see it, what places I have filed, and that's this side looks already slimmer. But make sure you don't round it off, we wanted it kind of straight. This side is always more difficult, especially with the left hand, but see, I have filed here, here I've got empty space, so that means I had less product. Always check those filing lines, because then you will file and you will understand what you are doing with your file. So it wouldn't be just like filing because you need to file, but it will be filing to really reshape those nails. You can already see it, how the shape is changing. Actually doing this side is easier for me going that way than the other way, I think. Okay, so I'm quite happy with all those edges. I've got bulk of the product in some other places, but again, I'm going to clean it so you can guys see it, that there are some places which I even didn't touch it yet. Okay, the next amazing move is, remember the nails are curved like this. So we cannot file it just like flat. We have to follow this curve, and that's what I'm going to do. So start where your nail is, keep the file all the time in a contact with the nail, and then just go through the entire surface of the nail. Make sure you also got even pressure, okay? That's why I'm holding those finger there, so it can press the nail file and it can have even pressure. Okay, so I have filed the entire nail. I need to thin out the free edge a little bit more, but I don't want to file my apex anymore. So I'm not going as far up as I was going before. I'm more into the bottom of the nail. Bottom, I call it bottom. But I'm more into the free edge, that's the correct term, guys, to thin that out. Okay, and this way I've got a nice nail. I don't have to file this place anymore because I will just grab the buffer, and with the buffer we can just finish the work. So I'm doing exactly the same movements, very close to the cuticles. Looks like I'm really rough, but this is no rough at all, like as a sponge in there, so I can go as this rough. Same when we filing with the file, I always remove those corners, and this doesn't hurt, so I can go really like against the skin. Okay, that's another tip. I hope I don't explain too detailed today. So I'm brushing away those dust particles. At the same time, I'm really filing a little bit of my nail fold as well. What a difference if I'm using a hand file or if I'm using an e-file. That's some sort of exfoliation as well. So I'm doing that at the moment to clean all those bits and pieces. Okay, going the other side, and now filing down the way so I can really clean the other side. So this way I have sorted out my cuticle area, and then I can smooth out the entire nail. So I'm just kind of following the same movements I did it with the file to do it the entire nail, and then that's our nail all nice and perfectly finished. Okay, I have spent hours filing it, but I like my nails nice and pretty. Okay, that's it finished. So let me clean this dust, take the sponge, you can see it how nice it is, sponge, and we will move into Babyboomer. Okay, I'm just going to give it a quick redust, then blue scrub to clean it nice and squeaky clean. And now we can do those Babyboomer. We are going to use the white French gel, and this is a fantastic gel, like I really love it for Babyboomer. I'm just going to use some small brush to apply it on. By the way, those brushes are back in stock, which I'm so happy about, because you have guys really ask it about it. So I'm just placing a small scoop of the product and then grabbing the first sponge, remove those fluff, and then we are going to blend. As I said on the beginning of this video, I have made my life more difficult by doing a darker color. The milky pink would just blend absolutely perfect. For this one I need more blending, and also for this set I want my baby boomer to be really really high up, guys. Okay, so the first layer is just to kind of bring a little bit of color into those nails. And look, I've got clean sponge here, no product in there, so these sides can touch my fingers and I can go to the corners. That's no problem at all, as long as you use those clean side of the sponge. So do not go all over your fingers with the sponge side which has the product over it. And I'm pressing quite hard. I'm kind of brushing the product down the way, so they are really decent presses on the nail, because I want the product to be really thin and hardly visible at those first blending point. Okay, so my first blending point is the parts which I'm doing at the top. I'm not bothered about how pigmented the bottom is yet, because this is something which we will do it later on. In the meantime, I also have touched the sponge on the form, because when I'm doing it, some particles of the sponge tear apart, and that's the parts which can give you the texture, because you guys ask me a lot about this question. Like, so first of all, it's like, yeah, but you are going to have dirty fingers. So I'm doing this baby boomer really high up, just so you could guys see it, how I'm working. And I've got really high nail folds, like most of the people don't have them as high, so mine are really easy to get dirty with this technique. I can see it, I can manage it quite decent even with my left hand. Okay, so that's my first blending point done. I really going high up with it, because that's the look I'm going to like for this set. So first layer is done. We are going to cure it. Okay, that's it cured. So I'm just going to use a different brush, the one which I'm using for the French at the moment, because I really wanted it to be very highly pigmented at the free edge. So I'm going quite decent amount of the product now. In a kind of messy French way, I would say. I would call it messy French. Just brush it on. I'm trying to answer all the questions which have ever showed up in any kind of videos when I have sponged or when I was doing a baby boomer, because there is lots of those questions like regarding that, especially on those fluffy bits and textures. Okay, so now the second movement isn't brushing, it's kind of brushing and tapping. And now I cannot touch this part because this part is done. I'm level below that. Okay, so this is more of a tapping, but also at the same time I am brushing it down a little bit as well. Okay, clean any excess of the fluff. Tapping and brushing down, tapping and brushing down. Tapping and brushing down. Don't go too high, because we already got those parts done. Okay. Clean the sponge. So anytime you will notice that the sponge starts leaving a texture, that means you have tear apart your sponge by using it, and you need to just clean those fluffy bits and pieces. And now I'm just going to give it a cure. Okay, so that's our second layer curing. The longer nails we've got, the more layers, unfortunately, you're gonna need. I do usually like to do it 3 layers on my nails. Today I might do it even 4, just because I'm going to take it more extreme. Like I wanted it to be really, really white. Since I've got this French before, I want the end to be really strongly pigmented. They don't look too bad, but that's not a nice blending yet. No, it's not. So what I'm going to do it next, I'm going to go even lower. Like I want this to be this color. Like I really wanted it to be so white at the ends, like really, really white. So I'm applying a decent amount of the product again. The only thing is, like, I cannot go too high up again. Remember that, guys, because we are happy with this top part. So take away the sponge, and now I'm again doing like tap, 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 and then just brush down a little bit. Tap, 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 and brush down a little bit. Okay, so this is my third layer. And I like it that they are getting more and more pigmented. I am happy. No, I'm not happy there. Now I am happy. So I'm going to give them a... I'm not happy. She keeps touching it. Okay, I'm going to cure them now. And then we will go with the product which we've got on the sponge, because there is some product absorbed, and kind of smoothed it out. Guys, this is a fantastic tip. This always changed a lot in the look of my baby boomer, because at the moment I feel like it's kind of not finished the way I wanted it. But once I do that, it just becomes like really much nicer and cleaner, because it covers those... yeah, it gives a better fade, definitely. It covers those kind of empty spaces, and there are also a few more tips which I need to give you. So first of all, you better off, see, if sometimes you start dabbing and the product doesn't blend nice, do not try to put too much product. You better off, and it will be taking you shorter time to do an extra layer, rather than trying to leave too much product in a one layer, because you will kind of keep putting it on, but also at the same time removing, because the sponge always absorbs some product. So it's better to do an extra layer rather than spending too much time on this blending. And it does really work. Another thing which make the baby boomer more difficult with the sponging is if the previous product is wrongly cured or is not cured enough, again, you are going to pull it away with your sponge. So instead of adding more, you are kind of removing it, and then it goes patchy, and then it just like so messy. Okay, so that's why I'm talking so much right now, because I want to make sure it's properly cooked, my hand. And then once this is cooked, I've got some product in there, and what I'm doing now, because there is only little product in there, so first of all, this side of the sponge is clean. I can go like even like this, you know, on my fingers, so I can really reach those corners if I need to. Oh. I have over... No, that's... yeah, that's dust. Okay, so I'm just touching up those corners, and I'm starting gentle because I don't know how much product I've got on my sponge. Okay, so a very gentle brushes. I'm brushing it down, and look, guys, at this. Like, it's so much prettier. So much prettier. Fluff, remove it, tap it on the sponge. Like, once you get hang of those technique, you'll find it is actually really awesome technique for your baby boomer. If you go too high, I usually try to don't go on the places, kind of don't work backwards. So once this part is done, just don't go there anymore. You've got empty side of the sponge, and what you can do it is with empty side of the sponge, you can kind of give it a little wipe away of those excess product which you have left in there. I try to don't do it this way, but just in case if it does happen to you, I want you to know you've got that kind of option as well. I want them really, really white, and that's because I had those French manicure. Okay, so this one is done. Normally in a salon, I do it, it's so quick, like I think this is so much quicker than doing any kind of gel polish or anything. It's just fantastic way, but obviously today I wanted to really explain it. Again, going so, see, this side wasn't cured properly, it was maybe just the way how I hold the hand, and if I will try to fix it, what you will have to do it is just bring a little bit more product there, and then sponge it out. Yeah, it wasn't cured properly. Yeah, but this is the most fantastic way for me to doing the baby boomers, and it works for different colors as well. So that's just a nice nice bonus, guys, for you. You can use it with different colors. It wouldn't work with the gel polish. Okay, I'm going to cook them. They're really extremely white. I don't go normally as high up, but I wanted to have them really, really white. I wouldn't use the gel polish because the gel polish is quite thin consistency. And if you use that, your sponge will absorb again quite a lot of product and it wouldn't be as highly pigmented. But what you could do it is you could take a gel polish and mix it with this white paint gel, and then you will get a kind of not too bad coverage. It wouldn't be as nice as on with those paint on gels, but it will be definitely much better than doing it only with the gel polish. Okay, that's my white almost cured. I really don't want to speed up the curing because that's when the troubles is happening. And sometimes I'm not happy with those and those one place. I'm just going to touch it up one more time. That's it, much better, much better. That's it. Okay, and now I can just cook them and then we can just top coat them. Okay, we can put the top coat over it. So just grab some top coat, and then that's this look, finish it. So I'm quite loving them. I'm obsessed actually with the white nails after those French manicure, and I hope, guys, you have really enjoyed this video as well. Excuse my shaky hands. When you apply the top coat, I quite like to, especially for a baby boomer application, I'm kind of putting a tiny bit thicker application. That's kind of smooths out any imperfections and make your nails look much prettier as well. So with every single step, I'm trying to improve the look. But if you do put a little bit more top coat, you are risking the top coat to flood the cuticles. So what I need to do it is I need to freeze it. So give it like a 2 seconds freeze, and then you can apply it on another nails. Otherwise it will just run. Another thing which I like to do it at the end of the service for baby boomer or for a French manicure. I told you that, guys, when I was doing the set which I was wearing recently, which you have seen me infilling, is I do scratch those free edge because I don't want it to have the product at the free edge. I know it sounds funny, but I just don't like when the ends are painted. So this one looks quite messy. And I'm trying to fix it with the top coat. Okay. But definitely you have to try out this blending technique with the milky pink. As I say, I have made my life really difficult on going with that color, but I wanted to keep the same one. Okay, we are going to cure them and then I can show you the final result. So just a couple seconds longer till the top coat freeze. Yeah, and I always, obviously they have been shortened, so they are really thick at the free edge. But I don't like the look of too much product in there. It just doesn't look nice, especially for a French manicure when we've got those bases. I don't know, it's a kind of my thing. Obviously each of you would prefer a different way. So what I'm doing, as you can see it, I've got some product at the free edge. I'm just touching it with the file because I prefer those cleaner look. Okay. Same on this one. And no, the product is not going to chip. I had those French manicure tips for a month on my nails, and no, it doesn't chip. It doesn't chip on the clients either. On the natural nails, I wouldn't do it because on the natural nails, it could chip. You can see it. I prefer it. Can you see the difference in between this one and this one? Okay, that's the reason why I'm doing it. So I'm always just giving a wee file touch, and that's the finished results. I think that's the Babyboomer always looks quite nice. And as I say, this one is kind of really extreme because I wanted to have quite a lot of white on my nails. I'm sending you glittery hugs and bye for now.